Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US indices for Tuesday, August 2. So we're tracking two counts. One is that we have an A, B, C here for a B wave, and then we come down for the C wave here. So in counting this to the upside here, it can be counted in different ways, but whichever way we look at it, we're coming quite close to a top here. The other way that we're looking at this is just simply a bullish count with an A and a B and a C wave here, and then moving straight to the upside here. Now, both of those counts, I just give them equal weight, and I'll just move with the intraday evidence. I know that this move down through here doesn't count that well, but when you look around the block a little bit, if you look at some things like, you know, the consumer discretionaries here, we've got a nice a wave A and B, and no overlapping down here in this particular one. When we look at the healthcare sector, we've also got a nice ABC here. The industrials the same as well. There's quite a few of them that look like that. Even, I mean, they're pretty much coming from the low volatility sector of the SP 500. So this is the S&P low volatility here. So in this case, you can really quite see and clear A wave, B wave, and C wave here for this. For me, there's no ifs and buts about that. One of the questions over here, though, from the top to the bottom, back to the 10,500 area here, is the 61.8% where the B wave is, and so that number carries a fair bit of weight. And if you look at this little trend coming up here, you can kind of see that, well, at the beginning here we got some ones and twos here, haven't we? And then we've sort of, it picks up a bit of speed, and so it's obviously coming into the third wave up here. So now we're quite close to the top of this little trend here. This particular length here is the same length as this length here. So it's a little bit impossible to call this move here a third wave, if we looked at this as wave 1 here and 2 here and 3 here, because it's got equality. So if we were looking at wave A here and as a wave A and a wave C here, to the 61.8% at the 10,500 for this low volatility thing, and gives you equality here as well. And we can also see we've got a few ones and twos in here, and the third, we don't see any fourth waves in here just yet. It's just sort of starting a little bit, not they'll be huge, but yeah. So a couple of things here is that there's a little bit more upside. It's going to hit a brick wall at that 10,500. It will give equality to this and to this, so this can't be a third wave here. It could be up for 1 and back for 2, and up for 1 and back for 2, like building to the upside, so that's possible as well. But otherwise we'll look at this here as, the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave. Whichever way we look at it, we just need to get some evidence of what's what, so basically I don't know if we're going to go straight up here or we're going to hit this area just here and then move down in a C wave. But even if we do move down in a C wave, the good news is that because we don't have 5 waves here, right, we only have 3 waves here, so whatever happens over here is just corrective. So that means, and eventually in due course, after this leg down here finishes, then we'll move up and we'll take those highs out there. So we can look at markets today in bullish counts, and we can also look at them in still in corrective counts at this point here. But the main point is the two main points is that this trend, whichever market stock that you're looking at, not all of them, but 90 odd % of them plus, this move up through here, number one, is not finished. Number two, when it does finish, I won't know what's going on, but I will, in that, because the move up here will be 5 waves. So we're going to either get an impulse waves to the downside or corrective waves to the downside and then turn up. Now, being in those impulse waves to the downside or corrective waves to the downside, I won't know what they are. They'll look basically the same. I won't know what they are at that point. You know, it will take a little while to figure them out. So yeah, there'll be a bit of a blind spot in there. I mean, if you wanted to short, then you would just short at the end of the 5 waves here, say on the 10.5 here for this particular market here. Also too, with this move up through here, I mean, here it looks quite simple, which is good, and we can go in and have a look at this. But with the futures markets and CFD products and all these sort of things and stocks, that they all look a little bit sort of different, and you could count them differently as well. So if we look at this as a daily chart, if we looked at this as an hourly chart, because it's quite a nice little sort of pattern in here, and that's it here, the A, the B and the C wave here. So we could just use this as a bit of a guide stick really. So so all we're doing is accounting 5 waves from this low here to the upside here for that, and we know that we've got a bit of equality, maybe even to this point here we have some sort of ABC pattern here. Looks about right. So looks like some ones in it. Looks like a big wave 1 in here, and a third wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and a fourth and a fifth. Not a very nice fifth, so maybe that's a truncated fifth, but this is nice as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, there is overlap there, but this is the sort of thing that splits hairs all the time, and you just sometimes you can't nail the countdown, because if you stuck to all the rules, you'd be a boring boy. So we need to be a bit philosophical at times with this. So we've got to kind of look at this here as we've got to count 5 waves up here. So I think we could just do that as a little bit of an exercise. Now obviously the first thing that sticks out is this big wave structure here, and then we've got this building process through the beginning. So that a trend has a beginning, right, which is the building process, then it has the middle, and then it has the ending process. So the ending process is a little bit like the beginning process here, which you could turn upside down. So we could say here that, well, we could probably look at this here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for wave 1 here for that point. And we've got to kind of figure out, is this wave 1 to here and wave 2 and then wave 1 and 2, or is that wave 1 an A and a B and a C to this point here for wave 2? So is that wave 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, because that would give it, this here would give it, let me get this drawing tool working, as 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 and 5 for that point, but then we'd still have this little area through here to go on. So would have that and then that before the top's in play. This is hourly, so we'll just go to put that on minutes as well. Let's just go in and have a look at this, break that down. So that's where we were. So we need to, this is just more of an exercise really, but I think it's a good way to look at this. So one of the first things that pops into my mind here is that this strong move up here looks like an impulse wave, and then we've got little 5 waves here. So that's 3 waves up here, right? So that's probably a B wave, but then we've got to get a C wave out of this. Now, once again, we could look at it as wave 1 here, 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd wave, the 4th wave, and the 5th wave down here. But yes, there is overlap between 1 and 4, so you can sort of throw things there at me. But we don't have that as an impulse wave to the upside, you know, so that's the main thing. So this is probably wave 1. So we're going to label this here as wave 1 to here and wave 2 to here. I'll have to put these here for a moment, and this is a leg here, so we'll put this as a minute degree for this point in time, just to get this. That's about right from when I'm looking at stock. So we're just going to plonk that up to there, and this one to here, and then this one to here. So they're the 5 waves that we're looking for. And then we need to go into this. I think that this is a nice 1, 2. It's actually not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I'll just explain that in a minute. I mean, it is, but it isn't in a way. So I'll sort that out. So we can just drop that down to that degree. So we can plonk those there, because that's in 3 waves there, and then that's in sort of 3 waves. So we can go, I could be wrong, don't listen to what I say too much, don't check what I say, but 1 and 2 here for wave 1 and 2, and then the third wave is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 to this point here, and then this is the 4th, and this is the 5th with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and ABC. You've got to be, and there's overlap here too, but I don't mind overlap near big numbers, you know, anything with a lot of zeros on it, you know, it's going to be like a magnet. So you know, you've got to stick the flag in the ground somewhere, you know, and then you've got to kind of figure it out from that point. So I think this is 3, 4 and 5 here, and this is kind of what I've got on. So that's the low volatility count for this here. Okay, so that's the 5 waves we're looking at. So the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave up to 10,500. So that's something that we can look at. And this count here is good because it's in line with my Apple count. So if I bring my Apple count over here, that's in the screen, isn't it? So my Apple count, so if I go, I mean, Apple's quite central to the whole thing. So back to the day chart here, and Apple's the one that's gone up the most, or I think anyway, there's probably others, but the stocks that I look at. So here we're looking at this as an A wave, a B wave and a C wave here. So we could just continue to move up here, right? We could do that. Some other markets haven't moved up very much at all. Microsoft is sort of down here, and Amazon's starting to make a bit of a move and so on. So I'm also counting 5 waves up here for this, right? So in this last leg here, look for the top of the wave A here, and maybe it's not an A, maybe it's something else, but I've still got to get that top in play here. Then we'll look for the B wave and the C wave after that, you know. But moving up into that sort of suits the count that I've got for this. So I won't bore you to death here, but 1 and 2 and all the way up for 3 and 4 must be 10 to 8. So the platform's resetting, so it won't give me won't let me move it for a little bit. So I'm just going to pause for 30 seconds or whatever it takes. That was a quick 30 seconds, but that's what happens with time as you get older. It goes quicker. So 3, 4 and 5 here. Now what we've been doing, we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here and 3 and 4 here. So in this case, I'm looking for wave 3, 4 and 5 and then down. Now the reason I'm showing you this is because on the indices, the S&P and the NASDAQ, I'm finding it difficult to get 2 more highs in. I can get 1 more high in. So I've made a mistake somewhere. I don't know if this is going to be the high or that's going to be the high. I know that this can be counted a little bit differently in here as well. So we're just going to go to the 100 ticks and just explore that. And try to find the problem. So the problem would be, as currently I've got wave 3 here with an A wave here, a B wave here, because we haven't really made a new high here, and then wave C down here, and then looking for 1, 2, blah, 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 up for 3, 4 and 5 to finish off here. But you have to be careful. We may get this situation, or this could be the top over here on this one. And that would be that this would be the ABC here for wave 4 over here. And this would be wave 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and finishing it off for this wave 5 of this wave 3 here, and then this becomes the blue wave 4 over here, and we just come up for the blue wave 5 and that's the top. So that's the problem that I've got, and that's what I wanted to show. So in some cases, like when we looked at the at this one here, it made sense. We got this one, this one, this one, and this one, right? And the same with sort of Apple as well in that case. But I'm having difficulty finding that in this market. So we'll go into that now. Now the situation again here, just to let you know, is we've either got an ABC down here for the low, and we just continue all the way up, or we've got the A, the B, and the C. So if we were going to continue all the way up there, we can have a look at that count here. It would be something like this. So from the low here, we can go 1, ABC for 2, up for 1, back for 2, and then moving up again for 1 and 2, and then continuing to move up. So we'll keep an eye on that. So it's a little bit critical as we move up here. It is moving quite nicely as a sort of as a wave third of a third of a third here. It is moving reasonably well. It's a bit sticky here at the moment, but we'll see. We don't need that there now. If you've been long, we've talked about being long in this market and yada yada yada. So yeah, our job really is that how do we count this move up here to be completed? Because once that 5 waves is completed, then we need to find the top, and we could be coming down for an A and a B and a C wave at that point. Or we'll be looking for 5 waves up here, a slight pullback, probably something into here, and then we move up again. And we need, we need to be onto it on that, And there's markets like Bitcoin that could probably, give us that pattern more so. We have to put Bitcoin in with the tech stocks now, I mean, it's, if you like it or not, if you like Bitcoin or not, it doesn't matter. It's it's $1 trillion market, or the crypto's $1 trillion marketplace, and still small compared to the bonds and the equities. But anyway, that's the bullish count, and we'll just continue to work on that, and we're going to cruise into this. So this has kind of got both counts on it, really. It's got, I can look at it in a couple of ways. I can look at it as an A, B, and a C, or I can look at it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I kind of like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 business. It fits better. And, in a lot of cases, we can count this as, you could count that as 5 waves here, not a problem. So you could even look at that as wave 1 and 2 here. But then we end up getting this extra little move up here for this. That's why we had to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for this. So it's kind of just the best fit. But yeah, I mean, otherwise you can look at this as wave 1 and 2 like we have done in the bullish picture. But it doesn't really matter about anything else at the moment. All that matters now is basically understanding this move here and finding the top. And even when we find the top, we're not going to know what's going to go on here for a little bit. You know what I mean? We are going to get a correction. The question is sort of, do we get a small one? If I take that to 4.2, right, just as a thing, to 4.2 there, then realistically, if the market was going to be more bullish, it would pull back somewhere in this 50-60% back to the, retesting the 4,000 at that point, or it's going to come back down to, let's just down here somewhere up to the 4.2. Then we're going to get this B wave coming back into the 50-60% area here, wherever that may be. And then once we're down here, then we'll be going up here again. So this is going to be, it's like, do we come back here in 3 waves and then move up, or do we come back here? So that's what we need to figure out. We don't need that long trade there either. It's gone. Well, it's not gone. You're probably still in there, but we'll talk about that in a moment. So that's the situation. There's 2 things that are going on here. We've either got we've got 2 different patterns. Once this finishes, we've got 2 different patterns. That's one thing. And the other thing is that in this instance here, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the upside and have one more top to the other side, where we looked at the other markets and we had 2 more tops. So we've got either one more top or 2 more tops, and then then I don't know if we've got moved to here and then up, or we got the bigger picture. So these are the things that I need to figure out at this point. I'm going to go to 100 ticks here for this, and we're going to take a closer look at this situation in here. It's 10 enough? Yeah, so 10 is plenty. So we've got wave 1 to here and 2 to here. And then in this instance, and for this S&P, that as a futures market, and this is also a CFD product as well, so it makes it even a bit more complicated. But in counting all the waves here, from wave 2 here, I can count 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third, the fourth, and the fifth for the third, and then the A, the B wave here, and the C wave here, and that would leave me with basically 1, 2 in here somewhere, 3 and 4 here, and wave 5 coming up into the 200 area there. So one of the things, that looks okay. The third wave here looks like it's longer than wave 1, so that's okay. So that's pretty much what the futures market, or the CFD futures market, looks like at this point. So I'm just pointing out that if you have been long here, what we can do now for this is we can put the stop, or just put the stop under here. I mean, you're probably not even in the market now, but just in case folks are, and then we'll put the take profit at the 42 area at that point. So that's it in a bit of a nutshell. I don't know what to add to that at this point in time. So what we'll do is we'll just wait for these 5 waves to finish off at this point. There will be a correction at that point, and then we'll start working it. We can work short trades as well. Okay, so that's the S&P, and a bit of a long story to go with all of that. This is the US tech sector here, the XLK, and it also presents quite a nice A wave, B wave, and C wave down here. Now, obviously I've got this as a bullish pattern, but I wouldn't pay any attention to that because I don't have any evidence. We called the low in, we've been working it to the upside. I've never known if we've had wave C here and we're going to go straight to the top, or this is just going to be one leg here for this. There are stocks that can have 5 waves down here for this. Even the Russell looks like it can have 5 waves down from this point. So yeah, we can't wipe things off just yet, but even as an A wave here, a B wave here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the C wave here, this market's not, this ETF's not going to go that far further than this at the moment. There's a lot of supply resistance in here, supply just meaning sellers, and so on. But anyway, I just thought we'd have a look at that. That's all good. So with the NASDAQ here, it's the same as the S&P. It's a little bit sort of wonky coming up through here. So the first wave 1 and 2 is okay, and 1 and 2 is all right here, and 3 and 4 here. Then it gets a bit wonky with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and even overlaps here. I'm thinking, is that right? Will I get away with that? Will the crowd start throwing stuff at me again? I'm not quite sure. But what I've said about this particular market here is that we're at 13,000, which is a major trading level. Fibonacci 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. So that's the swing range for this here, and the idea would be just to trade to this level, and we don't really need to do much here because it's going to be trapped in here. Group 1 above, 1, 2, and 300, they're going to hold the market back. And this here now, group 2 here, 65, 72, and 80 here, 800, is going to be the support here. So this is going to be a little bit sort of choppy in here. So you can see that as it's been creeping to the upside. That's the sign of the trend, being at the top end of a trend somewhere. So, but we should see a little bit further upside. This is the 38.2% retracement level for this. So yeah, we could just go, continue to move up at that point. Look, if it gets a nice classic trading levels pattern on top of the 13,000 there, well then, the arrival, the reaction, yada, 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 we'll then look to go long. Once you visually can see that that's a tested support, just buy new highs and you'll be okay, but you're not going to go far. You'll pick up 100 points or something. So, Russell, so I was just thinking, once again, there is an issue with this, but as 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 here and 2 here, quite a strong third wave here. Put it as wave 3 here with 5 waves in it. And then look at this as wave 4 here. There is a bit of an overlap with wave 1, and at this degree of structure, it's a bit of a no-no. So I understand if you don't agree with that. So, I mean, and rightfully so as well. But I was just thinking, well, what about if it is 5 waves down, I know you can go WXYs and all the rest of it and squash it and fit it in, but as I say, the WXY, I mean, even the X wave is something that Practor brought in, but I just call it like a joker in the pack because you haven't been philosophical enough to see the count, but that's another argument. And, when you're talking politics of that nature, there's, you can win and lose friends quite easily, so you've got to be a bit careful about situations. We don't want enemies. That's not what life is about. So, but anyway, I'm just pointing out that there is an issue with this, but at the same time, it's quite possible that we could have 5 waves down here. So that means that after an ABC pattern here, that we could move down here further. But still, we don't know. I don't know anything just yet. We have to gather the evidence for that. So I was treating the Russell as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, a bit like Apple, and a bit, I know it's got nothing to do with Apple, and a bit like the S&P and so on. But I know that this could be counted differently here, but I have to start from a conservative base and then build on that, And like I said, once we move past these 5 waves here, if we move past them, well, then we'll look at it. If once we get that top in place, and if we go past that, well, then I'll readjust it and we'll work it more of a bullish count to the upside. That's not an issue, but I need to get evidence of everything as we go step by step. We've been long in the markets, and that's good. So there's a time and a place to do things as such. But so anyway, so this is pretty much the same as the other ones here. We're coming closer to the end here for this particular structure, so we need to be a bit careful about this. I don't know if we're on the 100 ticks here for this. I don't know if I've done any work with this. Oh, yeah, I've done a bit here. Oh, this is a bit different, this count. Yeah, so our wave 4 here. I looked at this here and I thought, okay, yeah, we could look at that as wave 1 with an A wave and a B wave here and then a C wave down here. So I've changed it a bit from that high to that high. I did have a bit of a look at that. But I understand too if we put wave 4 over here. So this is also a bit of a conundrum over here as well. I'm quite happy with this move here, by the way, as 1 and 2 in here and 3, 4, 5 here for 1 with an A and a B and a C as an expanded flat here. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with this being the 3rd wave up here. I can count the 5 waves in here, and then I need to look at this as an A and a B and a C here for the wave 4, and then up for the 5 for the 3rd, and A, B, C for the 4th here. So I've got 2 things that could go on here. We could put this wave 5 top in play just here for that, and that's the top, but that wouldn't be in line with the rest of the markets. And we've got a little 5 waves up here, a bit of an overlap in all of that, but we could look at it as wave 1 with an ABC here for wave 2. So if we do get this as a little wave 2 pullback here, well then it's a bit hard to go long into big numbers because you know that it's just going to grab it, and and you get sort of stuck there. So if you're going to go long in this to find your way in there, then just depends on how far it comes down. It looks like it's got a wave 1 here, and then 1, 2, 3. Well, yeah, it's a bit overlappy. I suppose we can just go over to, because this is all a group 2 here, the 80, so we can go to the 80, the 72 in here, and then there'll be the 65. So that's group 2 there. So normally we'd just go long above the top here for this, you know. You could go long above this one here as well, actually. But it depends on how far you come down here. If you do come down here and then you move back up here, just look for a classic trading levels pattern here and go long from here to the 1900 and get out, okay? So it's just classic trading. If we come down here and move back up and get a little classic trading levels pattern here, like this here, you know. So they come in different packaging, but basically once you can kind of see it sitting there, all you need to do is buy new highs. And you know, you don't need to buy that high. You could bring it down to the second high or buy a high in here and those sort of things, you know. So just, you've got to be in amongst it, you know. But that should take you to the 1900. So that's sort of there. And the Dow Jones, so I'm treating this the same as well, but we've got a bit of an overlap here, so it's probably not the right count. But what do you do with this count? Because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and each one of these is smaller. So we could look at all of this as wave 1 here and 2 here, but then we'd have to look at this as 3, 4 and 5 up here. So you're really jamming it in, you know, whichever way you look at it with all of this. So that was one of the things with the NASDAQ actually that I wanted to point out again. Sorry for taking so long with all of this. We pointed this out yesterday, but just in case you missed this, we could remove the big bearish count from Elliott Wave International because the NASDAQ has now taken out the top of the 4th wave here. So yeah, but we kind of knew that all the way down here really, but we had to play it right out to the end. So there's a couple of ends. So anyway, this is the end here. So so it's good that the markets are in a correction because there's a lot of overpriced things out there, but it's also good that it's not the end of the world. Being to the NASDAQ, losing the plot, over to the Dow. So yeah, there's different ways that this could be counted, but I think if I'm just going to count 5 waves up to this point here, I'm looking at 1 and 2 here, and in this case 1 and 2, it just counts better like that, and I can see I've got 5 waves in that little move here. So yeah, it's just different, and I'm looking at all of this as wave 3 to the top here, and wave 4 here. And so this is a slightly different count for this one. This is more like the stocks that we've got, you know, like we looked at the S&P low volatility thing. It's a bit like that. But I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't worry too much, and I wouldn't get too excited about trading any of this up here. I'd be trying to think about what you'd be doing next. What would you be doing next if we had a B wave coming down here? And what would you do if we just came back to, if I took this low here and this high here? The reality is 2 things can happen. We can either come back to the 38.2%. There will be support at the 38.2% anyway, and then we could go up. We could also come down to the 61.8% and then go up as well. We could also come into these here with 5 waves here, have a retracement, and then come down for that B wave here. So these are the things that we need to sort of figure out, and I normally just really wait for the first leg to come down to see if it's in 5 waves or 3 waves. So that's what I will probably do. Yeah, that's it. Alrighty, I'll leave it all at that. That's where I'm sort of thinking with everything. So yeah, so I guess in one way, just to recap, at minimum we need to have 1 more move to the upside. There is a possibility that we could have 2 moves to the upside, so be careful about shorting about that. And then we have to work out, do we have wave A here or do we have something else? If we do have wave A here, then we're going to have a bigger pullback for wave B. So it's going to be sort of interesting to see what we have, and we'll end up getting the leads from the stock market rather than the indices. So keep an eye on that stock video. Alrighty, cheers.